The Drake myth isn't fading quietly, it's falling apart right in front of us. Not because of one bad song or one lost battle, but because something deeper is changing. The energy around him feels different. The grip he had on the culture, it's not as tight as it used to be. For years, Drake was the one calling the shots. Every move felt big, every drop felt like a moment. But now, it feels like he's chasing the moment, not creating it, and that changes everything. Now with that said, let's talk about where the shift really began. There was a time when Drake felt larger than life. Every move he made felt like a big event. Whether it was a surprise drop, a cryptic post, or a single bar in a verse, the whole culture stopped to pay attention. He didn't just make hits, he set the tone. He was the center of the conversation, the standard everyone measured against. But lately, that feeling is changing. Slowly, quietly, but clearly, the aura is shifting. It's not that Drake is losing talent, it's that the space he once dominated now feels more crowded, more unpredictable. Other artists are taking risks, fans are craving honesty and edge, and while Drake is still one of the biggest names in the industry, the control he once had, it's starting to slip. The myth of being untouchable isn't hitting the same, not because of one bad moment, but because the culture itself is changing. And that shift, you can feel it. And where did the first crack show up? Not in the charts, not online, in the one place he thought was safe, his own city. There's one unspoken rule in hip-hop. Your city always stands behind you. No matter the drama, no matter the music, your hometown protects the crown. And for over a decade, Toronto did exactly that for Drake. He didn't just rep the 6, he was the 6. Every win he had felt like a win for the city. Every stage he stepped on felt like home court. But that changed the night Kendrick Lamar performed in Toronto. The crowd went wild, cheering, screaming, throwing up W's for Kendrick in Drake City. That wasn't just a good show, it was a moment that shifted loyalty, and Drake felt it. When your own city cheers for someone else, it hits different, not because it's loud, but because it's personal. And if you've been following this fall in real time, do us a quick favor. Like, subscribe, and help us reach 1,000. Every single sub means a lot, and this story is only getting deeper, because after that night, something changed. The momentum slowed, the timeline moved on, and Drake, he stayed quiet. No response, no reaction, no attempt to shift the narrative. Now, Drake has always been great at controlling the moment. A surprise drop, a slick caption, a perfectly timed verse. He knew how to shift the conversation. But after Kendrick's diss and that wild Toronto moment, Drake didn't do any of that. No post, no song, no clapback, just silence. And at first, people thought maybe he was playing it cool, like this was all part of a bigger move. But as the days passed, that silence started to feel different. It didn't feel strong, it felt shaky. When someone who always speaks suddenly goes quiet, people start filling in the blanks for themselves. And that's what happened. The culture didn't pause, it moved forward without him. The narrative kept spinning, and for once, Drake wasn't the one driving it. That's not weakness, but it is a risk, because in hip-hop, silence isn't neutral. It either looks like confidence or confusion. And in this case, it looked like Drake was figuring things out in real time. Not reacting too soon, but not leading either. And for someone who built his whole image around being one step ahead, that silence spoke louder than a verse ever could. When Drake finally broke the silence, he didn't do it with bars. He didn't drop a freestyle or return with a sharp verse. Instead, he showed up in cowboy boots, smiling next to Morgan Wallen, sipping bourbon in Nashville. It caught everyone off guard. This wasn't just a feature or a one-off vibe. It felt like a shift, like Drake was trying to step into a whole new space. And to be clear, Drake has always played with genres. He's blended sounds from dancehall to Afrobeat to house, but this one felt different. It didn't feel like growth. It felt like a distraction, like he was trying to change the subject. Don't talk about Kendrick. Look over here. And the choice of Morgan Wallen raised eyebrows. A country artist with past controversy, suddenly linked with hip-hop's biggest name? It didn't feel like a creative move, it felt like a strategic escape. A way to grab attention without stepping back into the fire. Drake wasn't just pivoting, he was redirecting. And while it kept his name in the headlines, it also made fans wonder, is this evolution? Or is this a detour from the heat he didn't want to face? After the Morgan Wallen moment, things didn't slow down, they sped up. Drake didn't just change locations, he changed everything. One minute he's in cowboy mode, the next he's posting up in Houston. Then it's throwback jerseys, strip club captions for the H energy like he's been repping it since day one. It wasn't just a new aesthetic, it was a full personality shift. And fans felt it, because when someone reinvents themselves that fast, it doesn't always feel natural. It feels like they're trying to outrun something. Drake has always been a shapeshifter. That's part of why he stayed on top for so long. But this time, it felt like he was switching looks and vibes faster than the culture could keep up. Like he was searching for something that felt solid again, a way to rebuild the mystique. But instead of creating clarity, it created confusion. Who is Drake right now? What era are we even in? When you're constantly changing the mask, people start asking what's really underneath. And that's the problem. Not that he's evolving, but that it doesn't feel grounded. It feels like the identity is still in draft mode, waiting to lock in. And that confusion around identity, it started showing up in the music too. There was a time when every Drake release stopped the world. A new album wasn't just music, it was a cultural moment. People stayed up late, posted first reactions, quoted lyrics for weeks. But lately, that energy's missing. For all the dogs came and went. Sure, it charted. Drake always charts. But it didn't stick. The songs didn't hit like they used to. The emotion, the hunger, the sharpness, it just wasn't there. The verses felt tired. The singing felt flat. The project felt more like content than a full story. And fans noticed. It's not about numbers, it's about connection. Drake used to make songs that lived in your headphones for months. Now it feels like he's chasing trends instead of setting them. One foot in the past, one foot in the algorithm. And when you try to please everyone, the music starts to lose focus. That doesn't mean Drake fell off, but it does mean the magic feels harder to find. And when the music starts to feel like background noise instead of the main event, that's when you know something's changed. Drake used to be the most calculated artist in the game. Everything felt polished, intentional, from the cover art to the interviews. The timing was always tight. That level of control made his brand feel bulletproof. But lately, the edges are showing. The rollouts feel rushed. The visuals feel inconsistent. Even his son, Adonis, has been placed front and center in interviews, on album covers, in promo clips. And while fans love seeing that side of him, some are starting to wonder, is this real or is it strategy? When the music's not hitting and the culture is shifting, even genuine moments start to feel like damage control. Then you add the awkward interviews, the offbeat promo moves, and the posts that don't land. And suddenly, the Drake brand doesn't feel as stable. It's not falling apart, but it's wobbling. The confidence he used to move with, it's been replaced by caution. The mystery that kept people guessing, it's been replaced by noise. And when an artist stops looking like they're in control, the public starts questioning everything, even the parts that used to feel solid. Kendrick didn't just drop a diss, he changed the atmosphere. One verse at a time. He shifted the conversation from fame to focus, from stats to skill. And while the back and forth between him and Drake grabbed headlines, what Kendrick really did was force the entire culture to pause and reflect. Suddenly, fans weren't just asking who had the biggest hit. They were asking who had something to say, who still had something to prove. And for the first time in a long time, people looked at Drake differently. They remembered the ghostwriting rumors, the genre hopping, the carefully planned rollouts. And they started to wonder, was it all style or was there still substance underneath? Kendrick didn't break Drake. He revealed the pressure Drake was already under. He pulled back the curtain. No antics, no distractions, just bars. And that raw, stripped down approach hit hard. Because when one artist leads with truth and the other leans on strategy, the audience can tell. The energy shifted, the myth cracked, and the questions didn't stop. Not because Kendrick said it, but because deep down, fans were already feeling it. Kendrick just gave them the words. But Drake isn't finished. Let's be clear about that. He's still one of the most talented artists of this generation. The catalog is deep, the influence is massive, but the next chapter won't be about features, aesthetics, or silence. It won't be about clever posts or surprise drops. If there's going to be a real comeback, it has to start with clarity, with purpose, with hunger. Because right now, it doesn't feel like Drake is chasing greatness. It feels like he's chasing momentum. Too many pivots, not enough focus. Too many teases, not enough truth. That's not strategy, that's survival. And survival mode never lasts forever. Fans don't need perfection, they need something real. And the only way to fix a myth is to stop trying to fix it. Just create, just speak, just lead. The door's still open, but the culture is watching closely, because when a legacy starts to slip, the next move isn't just important, it's everything. Be sure to like and subscribe. Every single sub helps us reach 1,000, and your support means everything. If you made it to this point, drop your thoughts in the comments. Is this a slump or the start of something bigger? Check out the Kendrick deep dive next. That's the moment the whole war turned.